I got home early for a change, and I remember standing outside under this bright blue sky. And the news was talking about this hurricane for days. But from where I was standing, it didn't seem like there was a storm coming at all. My wife Tracy was still at work, Ella was at soccer practice, and my son Joey had gone to a friend's house after school. I figured I had the whole afternoon to myself.
Hey, Harold!
But my neighbor Sam saw I was home, and he yelled out to me. Everyone refers to him as Mr. Prepared. About a month earlier, Sam showed me a supply kit he was putting together for stay-at-home emergencies and a go bag that he might need in the event that he ever had to rush out of his house during a fire or other evacuation. The go bag, as he called it, held all the essentials that he needed if he had to leave home in a hurry or for a few days. I remember thinking it was a good idea, but I just never got around to it. Anyway, Sam was packing up his car, and he said I should do the same. Well, the forecast was predicting that the hurricanes would hit hard enough to flood all the houses along the coast, and we had been ordered to evacuate by 8:30 p.m. to allow plenty of time before the storm hit. I suddenly started to believe all the news reports. Sam was signed up with Notify NYC, so he was automatically getting text messages about the storm. Then he asked me, "Where's your family?" And I think that's when I began to worry.
Get out of here.
I went back home with a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, but I still didn't want to believe that this storm would hit so hard. I mean, we have been through a lot of storm warnings before, and it just seemed like a bunch of hype. We always came out fine. In hindsight, I should have been paying more attention, because the next time I looked outside, the weather was threatening. My wife and my daughter got home, and I reassured them we'll be safe if we stayed inside. My son was supposed to be home by 4:30, but by 5 o'clock, I still hadn't heard anything from him. I tried calling his friend's house, but by then, the local phone lines were all tied up, and I couldn't get through to anybody. We were all worried about Joey, and I felt like I needed to go and try to find him, but I couldn't leave Tracy and Ella alone. There's nothing worse than knowing that your child could be in danger, especially when you know that you could have prevented it. The time to help Joey was months before the storm. I could have made a plan with him about what to do in an emergency, who to contact, where to go. That one conversation could have made all the difference. It must have been around 8 o'clock when emergency workers knocked on our door and told us we had to go, now. I still hadn't heard anything from Joey. The hurricane was approaching and the storm surge would flood our home. We left with nothing but the shirts on our backs and headed for a bus station so we can get to the nearest shelter. We were lucky, very, very lucky. We were cold, tired, but we made it to safety. And my son? He made it to the same shelter with the family of the friends we had been with. Seeing him was the biggest relief of my life. I just broke down. At that moment, I promised myself I'd be better prepared for future catastrophes. We were thankful to be in a safe place, but that first night at the hurricane shelter was rough on the kids because we didn't have any clean clothes or any activities for them. And when you know it, there was Sam, Mr. Prepared. Each person in his family came with their own go bag, and they had extra clothes, blankets, toiletries, snacks, books, and games for the kids. And Sam was nice enough to share, which made a big difference for us. When we were finally able to return home, we found all of our windows broken and a lot of flood damage. We lost almost everything in that hurricane. We were able to repair the damage eventually. But there were photos and documents that we can't ever replace. Now, we keep those things in plastic crates, elevated off the floor, and we keep copies of our most important documents in portable, waterproof containers that fit in our go bags. Part of being prepared also means that we have a plan. Everyone in my immediate and extended family knows about it and knows how to execute it, including the kids. We know our evacuation zone, and if this ever happens again, we'll know when to go and where to go. Our plan A is to stay with my best friend Rick. He has a house in the Bronx, located in a safe area well outside of the evacuation zones. Plan B is to head to the evacuation center. All of our family members know to communicate with us through social media and to call my brother Vic in Denver. Having an out-of-state contact can allow us to pass on messages, even if local phone lines are busy. My family also knows to check the Office of Emergency Management's website for information. And we're all signed up for Notify NYC for fast and reliable emergency updates. Now, my neighbors call me Mr. Prepared, and that's a good thing, because being prepared is the best way to protect my family.